Hello, I'm Claire, and this is your 20-minute wind down yoga flow. So it's perfect to do this one at the end of the day when you're getting ready for bed. You just want to loosen off and slow down the mind. We're going to start in child's pose. So bring your big toes to touch, send your knees wide. You're going to send the hands out in front and drop the head down to the mat. Just start to soften here. Allow the chest to drop to the floor. Let the breath flow in and out through the nose. Notice all the parts of the body that touch the mat and become a little bit heavier here. From here, start to walk your hands over towards the right side of the mat. The right hand might come off. You can take your left hand, place it on top, and then drop the head back down. Think about shifting your hips over towards the left heel. Feeling that stretch down the left side of the torso. Just noticing that maybe you're feeling it around the back of the shoulder, maybe down the side of the rib cage or around the pelvis. Walking the hands back to center. Taking them over towards the left side. The right hand is coming on top, dropping the head down and then shifting the hips towards the right heel. Just notice if where you feel it on this side corresponds with the first side. From here, we're going to push up onto the hands, bringing the wrists underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. Spread your fingers wide. We're going to move into our cat-cow. So inhale, lift the tailbone, roll through the spine, lift the head. Exhale, drop the tailbone, round up through the back, drop the head down. Inhale, rolling through, roll the shoulders away from the ears, send the chest through the upper arms. Exhale, rounding out. Take 2 more rounds like this, really following your breath as a guide. Notice how the spine feels, and notice any areas that feel a little bit tighter. Coming back to neutral, taking it into thread the needle. So inhale, lift your right hand high. As you exhale, send the hand through the gap the left hand and knee have created, and lower that right shoulder to the floor. You might keep the left hand where it is, or you might reach it forwards on the mat, maybe up and over the top of the head towards the top right corner, or maybe it's coming behind the back, all the way around to the front of your right hip. Think about inhaling towards the left side of the rib cage. As you exhale, maybe moving a little bit more into the twist. Take 2 more deep breaths here. With the exhale, notice if you can slightly roll that left shoulder just a little bit further back, deepening the twist through the torso. And then releasing the left hand down underneath the shoulder, pressing back up to all fours, coming into second side. Inhale, lift the left hand high, look to the fingers. Exhale, send it through the gap of the right hand and right knee, lower left shoulder down to the floor. Again, right hand might stay where it is. It might crawl forwards to the top left corner of the mat, or maybe behind the back to the front of your left hip. With every exhale, we're deepening the twist, rolling the right shoulder back. Take 1 more breath. And then releasing the right hand down towards the floor, underneath the shoulder. Press back up to all fours. From here, we're going to take it into puppy. So you want to keep your hips stacking above your knees. We're going to walk the hands forwards. We're dropping the forehead and the chest down to the mat. Now the forehead might be the first thing to touch. But if the chest is coming quite low, you might look forwards and place the chin down onto the ground. Just finding the place that works best for your body that you can release here. Shouldn't be too strenuous, so if it does feel like you've gone a bit too deep, slightly come up, just release out of that posture. Feeling a gentle stretch down the front of the chest, through the armpits. Feeling a little bit of compression, middle and upper back and in the shoulders. One more breath. And then slowly walking the hands back underneath the shoulders. We're going to tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Just use the next few breaths to take whatever movements feel good for the body. So that might be pressing the heels down to the ground. It might be taking a roll through the spine or a twist through the hips. Don't worry about how it looks. Just see what feels good for you. And then we're going to look forwards. Start to tiptoe the feet forwards towards the hands. Once you reach the hands, make sure the feet are hip width apart, grab onto opposite elbow, soften the knees, and just take a little sway in your ragdoll. Releasing the torso down onto the legs. Hanging through the center, release the grip of the elbows. Soften the knees, roll up through the spine, coming up to Tadasana. Roll the shoulders up, back and down. Reach the fingers to the floor. Bring your big toes to touch, heels are slightly apart. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Sigh out through the mouth. We're coming into our half sun salutations. So inhale, sweep the hands high, look to the thumbs. Exhale, soften the knees and fold forwards, Uttanasana. Inhale, look forwards, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the hands high, look to the thumbs. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweeping high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, back down to forward fold. Inhale, sweep the hands high, look to the thumbs. Exhale, press the hands to heart center. Just one more round. Inhale, sweeping high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And this time we're going to step it back into downward facing dog. Take an inhale, lift your right leg high. Exhale, squeeze the knee to the chest, look forwards, plant the foot between the hands, drop the back knee, untuck the toe. As you inhale, sweep the hands high, look up towards the thumbs, and then exhale, press the hips forwards. Inhale, reaching up and back. Exhale, press the hips. 2 more breaths. Really reaching through those fingers. And then release the hands down towards the ground. Walking your right foot out to the right edge of the mat, coming into lizard lunge. Hands are on the inside of your front foot. Take an inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, press the hips forwards, feeling your hip flexor stretch. Taking a few more breaths here. Final breath. We're going to tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, and we're going to sweep that right leg all the way up and back, coming into your 3-legged dog. So just take a little bit of movement here through the hips, finding a release through the front of your right hip. You can soften that left knee, you don't have to straighten the leg. One more breath. And then exhale, squeeze that knee into the chest, turn the leg out, right knee to the right wrist, coming into pigeon. You're going to send that left leg far behind you. Take an inhale, lift up, and exhale, start to fold forwards, dropping the head down to the mat. Really releasing here, feeling the stretch through the glutes. 2 more deep breaths. Pressing up onto the hands. We're going to tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, step it into a downward facing dog. We're going to take that onto the left side. So sweeping the left leg high, squeeze the knee into the chest, plant the foot between the hands, drop the back knee and tuck the toe. Inhale, sweep your hands up for Anjaneyasana. Exhale, press the hips forwards. Inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, press the hips. 2 more deep breaths. And we release the hands down to the floor. Walk the left foot out to the left side of the mat for your lizard. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, send the chest forwards. Exhale, press your hips forwards. So we should be feeling a deep stretch down the front of the right hip, coming into the hip flexors. Two more breaths. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee. We're going to sweep the left leg all the way up and back, bending the knee, finding your split dog. And again, just taking a little bit of movement here, whatever feels good for your body. One final breath. And then exhale, hug that knee into the chest, turning the leg out, left knee to the left wrist, send the right leg far behind you. Take an inhale to lift up, and then exhale, folding forwards. Dropping the forehead down to the hands. Allowing your pelvis to become heavy, dropping down to the floor, finding that glute stretch. Two more breaths. Pressing up onto the hands. This time we're going to shift the weight into the left side of the pelvis and just sweep the legs out in front of you as we come into Paschimottanasana. So we're going to take an inhale, lift up through the crown of the head, and then exhale, send the hands down the legs. If it's comfortable, you might take the hands to the outside edges of the feet, and you might draw the little toe edge of the foot towards you as you send your chest forwards. If that's not so comfortable, you can just have the hands onto the shins or maybe the thighs, and just use that to press the hands down and send the chest forwards towards the shins. Try and keep the chin in line with the sternum, tucking it down slightly into the chest. Two more breaths. Rolling up to center. You're going to draw that right knee into the chest and then drop it out to the side. You want to get the sole of the foot to the inside of the thigh as we come into Janu Shirshasana. Take an inhale, lift up and lengthen. Exhale, start to walk your hands forwards as you drop over that left leg. Now again, you might keep the hands on the floor, or you might be reaching towards the sole of that left foot. If you have got a grip of the left foot, inhale, lift and lengthen, and then exhale, gently pull on the foot as you draw the head down towards the shin. We're trying to find length through the spine here, so don't focus too much on getting forehead to knee. Instead, think about getting your chest towards your shin. Final breath. Rolling up to center. From here, bringing the soles of feet together, knees drop out to the side, coming to Baddha Konasana. Hands come to the ankles. Take an inhale, lift up and lengthen, and then exhale, folding forwards. Now, if you're coming quite low, you want to try and take the forearms in front of the shins and then just drop the head down. If you feel like you're a little bit higher, that's okay. Just think about dropping the head. There's a slight round through the spine. Take one more breath. and then rolling up to center. From here, we're coming into cow face pose. So I'll show you face on, as this one can get a little bit confusing. We're going to send the legs out in front of us, draw the right knee into the chest and cross the foot up and over the top of the left leg, little toe edge of the foot on the floor. We're going to bend up the bottom leg. You're going to see if you can get both sides of the pelvis down onto the ground with both knees stacking. If this is too much, you can always extend that bottom leg to come into the half variation. If you have taken the half variation, you might need to have a soft bend in the knee, maybe slide a towel or a blanket underneath. We're going to inhale, lift and lengthen, exhale, folding forwards. Now, more than likely, you're feeling a stretch around the glutes, around the outside of the pelvis. If you're in this half variation, you might also be getting a hamstring stretch down the back of that extended leg. Just 2 more breaths here. Rolling up to center. You're going to extend both legs out long, maybe give them a little shake in and out. We're coming into Paschimottanasana one more time. Take an inhale, lift and lengthen. This time, exhale, round out through the spine. So just allow that head to drop down, completely the opposite of last time. And just notice how maybe this is more of a spine stretch than it is through the legs. Again, becoming heavy, allowing the head to drop down. Final breath. Rolling up to center. Left knee comes into the chest. We're going to drop the knee out to the side. Sole of the foot comes to the inside the thigh. Take an inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, folding forwards. Again, hands might be down on the floor, or you might take the hands to the sole of the foot. If you have a grip of the foot, you can use that as traction to inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, fold over. Don't worry about how deep you go, as long as you're feeling a stretch down the back of that extended leg, and maybe some sensation in the bent leg also. Just 2 more breaths. Rolling up to center. Extending both legs out long, we're coming back into cow face pose. So the left knee is going to come into the chest, crossing it up and over the top of the right, little toe edge of the foot on the floor and wiggle it across. So again, you have this half variation as an option, or you might bend that bottom knee in. We inhale, lift, exhale, fold. Just allowing the head to become heavy, rounding out the spine. Two more breaths. Rolling up to center, uncrossing the legs, sending them out, giving them a little shake in and out. And then from here, we're going to hug the knees into the chest and you're going to roll down through the spine. So taking the hands behind the knees, just gently rolling down onto the back. And then from here, we're going to come into our happy baby. So knees go wide, send the feet up towards the ceiling, and we're aiming to get those knees down either side the rib cage. 3 options for the hands. You might take a peace finger grip around big toe, hands to the outside edges of the feet, or maybe hands to the backs of the knees. Taking a gentle rock from side to side. Trying to think about getting the pelvis flat down onto the mat, so sending the tailbone towards the front edge. Taking 2 more breaths. Coming back to center. From here, you might choose to extend one leg out as the heel comes into the pelvis, and then swapping sides. So one heel in, one leg extends. Just getting a little bit more of a stretch through the hamstrings, down the back of the legs. And then hug the knees into the chest, drawing the forehead towards the knees towards the forehead. And then coming to lie down into Shavasana final resting pose. Feeling the weight of the body drop down into the mat, becoming heavy, letting go of any control of the breath. Start to wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Maybe stretching the arms overhead, full body stretch. Hugging the knees into the chest, taking a little roll from side to side. When you're ready, rolling to the right side, and then pushing up to a comfortable seated position. So once you're seated, bring the hands to prayer in heart center. Take a deep inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, bow the head down towards the prayer. Take a moment to notice how you feel. Hopefully a little calmer. Maybe a little bit sleepy. Bring the thumbs to space between the eyebrows. Take a deep inhale. Namaste. Thank you guys. Thank you for practicing with me. Hopefully you feel ready for the rest of your evening or ready for bed. And I'll see you on the mat soon.